Hey you guys, welcome back. So I posted on my YouTube channel a couple days ago about the strange disappearance of 23-year-old Emily Bailey from Hamilton, Ontario. I only posted it onto YouTube because although it's only 5 minutes long, the file itself was too big to post onto TikTok. I'm gonna make a whole other video about my technical difficulties. So anyway, in this video, I talk about how there's not really any local or inside information about Emily's disappearance. No, how very wrong I was. Within minutes of posting on YouTube, I got a message on Facebook from a man by the name of Brandon, who is the father of Emily's youngest daughter and the one who reported her missing. He thanked me for bringing awareness to Emily's case, but informed me that there were indeed more details and more public knowledge regarding the days leading up to her disappearance. In my previous video, I'll link it in the comments. In my previous video, I mentioned how I got almost all of my information about this case from a podcast called the Nighttime Podcast. I link the first 2 episodes in the description box of my YouTube channel, but it turns out I only watched half of the series. There are 4 episodes in total. The 3rd one, they speak to Emily's close friend, Nikki, and in the 4th one, they speak to Brandon, the father of Emily's youngest child, the man who I spoke to. I will link both of these episodes in the comments down below. They are both definitely worth a listen. So a quick recap of what we do know about the case. 23-year-old Emily Bailey vanished without a trace around January 2nd, 2022. The general public was under the impression that there were no leads and everyone was baffled by her disappearance. But after speaking with Brandon, that is not the story at all. I got the real timeline of events. Brandon was the one who spearheaded looking for Emily. He's the one that started calling around asking if anyone had seen Emily. He was the one that organized the rallies, and for a long period of time, he was the first contact for police regarding the case. He is the father of Emily's youngest child, and although the two were no longer involved romantically, they remained very close. They were best friends, wonderful co-parents, and Emily often confided in Brandon. Emily was last reported to be seen on January 2nd, 2022 on Weir Street or in the Barton-Kenilworth area. It is alleged that Emily would often spend time at her friend Nikki's house, and the two were very close. It sounded like Nikki's house was almost like a safe space at many times. She could go there and just hang out. The two often dyed their hair together. They would watch TV and binge on junk food and just stuff that you would regularly do with your girlfriends. So Emily and her boyfriend Jeff would briefly visit Nikki's house on New Year's Eve at about 10:15 p.m. I think it's worth noting that Nikki's boyfriend is Jeff's brother. They only stayed for about 25 minutes, and when Nikki asked Emily if they had any New Year's plans, Emily stated that they were just going to go back to Jeff's house, have a few drinks, and it said that Emily was just excited to spend the night with Jeff. They said they were invited to a party, but they were kind of humming and hawing about going. I think Emily just wanted to go home and chill for the most part. Brandon would message Emily just after midnight on January 1st, wishing her a happy new year. The message was opened but not replied to. This would be the last communication Brandon had with Emily. So in my previous video, Emily's brother tells us that he told her she was staying with a friend, which turned out to be a boyfriend. This boyfriend is Jeff, and he actually lives on Weir Street. When Emily was finally reported missing on January 10th, police showed up right away to Jeff's house on Weir Street. Jeff told police not only had he just gotten out of the hospital with hand injuries, but he was COVID positive, so they couldn't come in. The very next day, on January 11th, Brandon started communicating with Jeff via Facebook Messenger. The two spoke on the phone, and when Brandon asked, where is Emily? You were the last one to be seen with her. Jeff stammered out, I don't know where she is. Jeff told Brandon that he and Emily had gotten into an argument on New Year's Eve, and she left his house without saying where she was going. Brandon ended up traveling from Scarborough to Hamilton in the early morning hours of January 12th to go to Jeff's house. He had never actually met him, but Brandon was hell-bent on finding Emily. When Brandon arrived, Jeff was calm but noticeably high on something. He had no bandages on his hands and invited Brandon into his home. Remember, just the day before, he denied police entry because he was COVID positive. In Jeff's home, Brandon noticed a stack of 7 or 8 cell phones on a table. Emily had allegedly lost or broken her cell phone just weeks prior, so he thought this was kind of weird. And so do I. Brandon made it clear to Jeff that he will remain on his suspect list until he can officially clear his name. Now, Jeff has this kilometer-long criminal record. Multiple women have domestic violence charges filed against him. In late February of this year, Jeff was arrested and charged for nearly killing his ex-girlfriend. He's in prison right now with no set release date, thank God. In November of last year, Emily found herself pregnant with Jeff's child and confided in Brandon. She stated to him she planned to terminate the pregnancy, but Brandon didn't hear anything else about it after that. It's unclear whether Emily had gone through with the abortion at the time of her disappearance. As we know, on March 2nd, 2022, Emily's case was officially handed over to the homicide unit. And in July, forensics spent 3 days inside Jeff's house on Weir Street. So I'm really hoping that they recovered some rock-solid evidence against someone. Emily deserves justice and her family deserves closure. Brandon continues to advocate for Emily and plans on doing a rally memorial balloon release on Emily's 24th birthday, December 15th. We are closing in on a year without Emily. I'm going to post Emily's GoFundMe link in the comments below. Please consider donating if you wish to help this family. All money will be going towards helping raise her children. If you don't have the means to help financially, you can help by keeping Emily's name and face out there until justice is served. We can continue to remember her fondly and keep her memory alive.